Hello guys, we are going to start the orthopedics. In the orthopedics we will see the series of lectures and completely about orthopedics what you want to prefer for the competitive exams. This video is all about the introduction and this is our first video. Okay, we'll go into the subject. The orthopedics here we completely see about the bones and muscles. First in the introduction we'll go everything about bones. What the other name for bone is, the medical term is osteon. Bone is also called osteon. What is osteon? Osteon is nothing but osteoid plus minerals and a trace amount of water, which will be higher in the children's, and as per when we grow up the level of water will be less. Okay, what is osteoid, what is minerals? Before we go into osteoids we will come for the minerals. The main minerals for our bone strength is calcium and phosphate, which will be in a form called hydroxyapatite, and osteoid. Osteoid composed of many organic things, especially two types: our body cells and protein contents. What are all the cells constant in the osteoid means? Mainly there are three types of cells: osteoblast, osteocytes and osteoclast. And in the protein components, the main protein component is collagen. There are different types of collagens in our body, but the main collagen which is involved in the bone formation is collagen type 1. And the other protein present here are osteonectin and osteoportin. We will see this about in the later of the lecture, it's not much important, but we will see here the functions and structure of all these three cells. What first we will go into the function. The osteoblast is a bone formation, is a cell which involves in the bone formation. From where it produced from? It is produced from the osteocytes. So osteocytes is also called the resting osteoblast. Okay, what is osteoclast? Osteoclast, as a very basic concept, it is nothing but the macrophage which is present in the bones. So as I said, it is a macrophage. From where it came from? Yes, bone marrow. From the bone marrow it comes it produces monocytes, and the monocytes which travels to the bone is called the monocytes which produce into macrophage, which involves in the bone, is called osteoclast. In the bone formation, actually there are the two main things happens. First, the bone osteoblast will come into action, which produce in the more content of bone, and osteoclast is the one which involves in the proper remodeling, which involves in the resorption of particular parts so that the perfect shape will come. So these are all the function of these three. If you go simply go into the structure, the histological structure, this osteoblast and osteocytes are mononucleus, and the histological structure of osteoclast is, it is an multinucleated, looks like a giant cells, and an additional feature, it's like it consists of a structure called house-shaped lacunae, which structures like this. This is called house-shaped lacunae. It's believed that this lacunae helps in the proper bone resorption. Okay, we after seeing about the histological structures, and we'll come into bone markers. What is a bone marker? How do we know that there is an bone resorption happening or bone formation is happening? Bone resorption, bone formation. There are certain markers we can see in our blood or in a blood or urine to know that what's happening, it's bone resorption or bone formation. What are all those markers? For the blood formation, the markers are ALP. ALP is nothing but alkaline phosphate. Alkaline phosphate is the one which neutralizes the pH, which produces an alkaline pH in the bone, which involves in the better bone formation. And the second one is procollagen. What is procollagen? Procollagen is nothing but a preform of collagen, which I said which is an important thing of our important protein of our bone. So when the bone formation is happening, a pro collagen is seen in the blood, which will be converted into collagen. And another bone marker for this is these two are minor, osteocalcin and osteonectin. The bone marker in the bone resorption is, as we said, how alkaline phosphate plays an important role in the bone formation. There is an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase, which plays an important role in the bone resorption. And another marker is TRAP, and it's also an enzyme. And leastly we can see this hydroxylysine and the hydroxyproline. Hydroxylysine and hydroxyproline. These are all the bone markers we seen for the bone formation and bone resorption. After this, we'll go into the structure of the bone. Mainly the structure of the bone here, if we take, its borders are defined with the different names. Main thing we have to see here is it is called growth plate. A growth plate is the one which consists of an stem cells, which involves in the elongation of the bone. The area upside of this growth plate is called epiphysis, and down to this growth plate is called metaphysis, and this remaining in the center is called diaphysis. The same here, which is a growth plate, epiphysis, metaphysis. This is very important. We will see in the later lecture. It will be mainly involved. And if we see in the layers of the bone, the outermost layer here is called periosteal sheath, and the innermost layer here is called endosteal sheath. There is a fiber here which connect this sheath is called Sharp's fiber. Inside this periosteal sheath, there is some cells present here called osteoprogenitor osteoblastic cells. So when these cells divides and grows, the cell grows in the thickness. So we can conclude here, when the growth takes place through the growth plate, there will be a vertical growth. Why? When the osteoblastic growth takes place through this osteoprogenitor osteoblastic cells, there will be an increase in the thickness. We will see later in several diseases, this thickness of the bone is also a weak bone, which involves in the easier fracture. We will see in the later. After seeing these layers of the bone, we will get into the concept like how the bone is getting its nutrient. After the bigger blood vessels entering here, this blood vessel will enter into the layer called metaphysis, which is, as I said before, it is downside this growth plate. The small blood vessels will enter into this metaphysis layer through the nutrient foramen and enter into the shape like hairpin shaped blood vessel structure. And why this concept is important here means, as the blood vessel here is there here in the metaphysis, it is an important hotspot for the infection. And also, if you see the tumors here, there are more chances like the tumor which reaches here can metastasize easily. So as I said, there is a blood vessel here. Then we will go into the how the vertical growth of the bone takes place, the vertical elongation of the bone takes place. As we said before, for the vertical elongation of the bone, the main thing involved here is a growth plate. This grow also the elongation of the this bone takes place from the growth plate. It grows from the apical layer to the basal layer. From the upward to the downward direction it will grow. If you see in the histological structure, the growth phase, we can see the different types of histological tissues present in the different layer. We can use a mnemonic called good peoples have care and obedience, which is a germinal layer, proliferative layer, hypertrophic layer, calcification, ossification. Okay, what is this layer? As I said, epiphysis, it's completely a growth plate, and metaphysis. In the growth plate, the stem cells are growing from up to the down, and this growing phase we can differentiate by the layers present here in the histology. As I said, germinal layer, these are just the stem cells layer which are there for the growth, and proliferation layer, which is the division, more proliferation of this progenitor cells, and hypertrophic layer. Hypertrophic layer means the hypertrophy of all those cells. Calcification, as I said before, calcification is nothing but the adding of the minerals such as an calcium and phosphate, which is an hydroxyapatite formation. Finally, the ossification is nothing but the final remodeling of the bone. And after we seen about this growth phase, we will go into the different types of bones. The bones initially we can divide into two types: oven bone and lamellar bone. Lamellar bone is also called mature bone, and oven bone is also called immature bone. By seeing its name itself, you can know that what's its meaning. We can see this oven or immature bone in the growing skeletons, and in the healing bones. These bones are generally weak bone, which are more prone to the fracture, while mature bone is a bone that everyone have now, which will be a very strong. And in this mature bone we can divide into two types: cortical bone and cancellous bone. Those are also called, cancellous bone is also called the spongy bones, and this cortical bone is also called compact bones. If we see in the normal adult long bone, as I said, growth plate, epiphysis, metaphysis, diaphysis. The bone structure we are seeing in these edges, which is an epiphysis and metaphysis, this bone is called spongy bone, which is generally somewhat weak, and in the diaphysis the bone present here is called compact bone. We will see later the spongy bone is mainly involved in a disease called osteoporosis, that and all we will see in later.